guys, so people a lot of times ask me why I don't keep cattle and why I don't keep pigs. In fact, a lot of people actually think that I hate cattle or something like that, but in reality, no, I don't. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys why I don't do piggery, why I don't keep cattle, and why I do what I do. Hopefully by the end of the video to make a lot of sense. So right now I'm on my farm just taking an evening walk. This is a commercial layer farm, yeah? So currently it's about 4 acres, probably just a little bit over 4 acres, maybe 4.1 acres that I do have right here. And on those 4 acres, or on these 4 acres that I do have right now, I have about 12,000 birds currently, but soon it will be 14,500 birds, yeah? Very soon. Just to think about that, if I convert that into revenue, that's easily over $30,000, yeah, every month in terms of just revenue alone per month. Think about it. So first thing, or the simple basic thing, which cattle farm on just 4 acres would give you $30,000 every month? By dollars, by that I'm talking about US dollars, not all the other dollars that other countries have. I use US dollars a lot because I have an audience all around the world, so it's easier for you to convert into your local currency. But think about it, which cattle farm or even goat farm would give you $30,000 a month from just 4 acres? So yes, I mean, I've gone through the experience of actually looking after cattle, yeah? It's not like I'm talking out of ignorance. Now, again, I'm talking from my point of view and from my experience, yeah? There's a lot of other people who have actually raised cattle, and they could tell you that they're doing it differently. In fact, if you're doing zero grazing, dairy cattle in particular, on just 4 acres, you could easily do $30,000 a month. Yeah, I'm certain of that. You're doing zero grazing. But I mean, for you to do $30,000 a month in zero grazing on 4 acres, you have to invest so much money. Yeah, so much money for you to be able to utilize that space. You have to invest so much money for you to be able to get $30,000 because cattle are really expensive. Yeah, if you're going to be getting like a proper fresh run that's going to give you good quantities of milk and things like that, it's going to be really expensive because I mean, just getting 1 cow will probably be over $1,000, yeah, just for a single cow. So imagine if you're going to be getting enough cows that are going to give you enough milk and things like that. So from experience, I have seen that it's very difficult. It's so uncommon to find someone who has like a proper concentrated zero grazed cattle farm, at least here in my country in Uganda. And I can believe the main reason is, I mean, it's part of a few reasons that I'm going to talk about. And the first one is the barrier to entry due to the high cost of buying cattle. I mean, you're going to probably have to import them from maybe South Africa or some other countries, and then they're going to be really expensive. That's going to be the first thing. The second thing is going to be the feed for the cattle. So the main reason a lot of people actually do paddocking or free ranging for cattle is because it's much cheaper that way, yeah? So for you to do that, you must actually first have land. Yeah, you need to make sure that you do have land. Now, right now, I'm actually on one of my gardens, which is actually just besides the poultry farm. So you can see the tanks that supply the water on the poultry farm. And right here, I planted some Chloris Guyana. You can see it, it looks so nice. Tell me guys what you think, yeah? It looks so nice. We planted it just maybe 2 months back, probably just over 2 months back. But you can see that it has started putting seeds, yeah? So you can see how tall it is. I mean, the good thing is that this place had manure. So we had placed manure all over the place. And compared to like everything else around, you can see how green it is. So green, yeah. So this other area here wasn't planted because we didn't have enough seeds to plant here. But over there we planted, yeah. And I think the guys didn't plant it well. I think they planted too many seeds in one area, and that's why the rest, I mean this area here, didn't manage to get the seeds. But look at how beautiful it looks. It's so green, it's so tall. Ideally, I believe that if we were just going to cut it, right now it would be perfect for cutting because it's really tall. It's like, I don't know how many inches. It's so many inches tall. It's probably a meter or so tall. Yeah, so it would be perfect for cutting, but I've told the guys not to cut it because as you can see, it's starting to seed, yeah, and I want us to harvest some seeds because the seeds are not so cheap, yeah, so you can see it's seeding, yeah. So this entire area, this is probably a plot of 150 by 100, yeah, 150 by 100. I don't know what percentage of an acre that is. 100 by 100 is like a quarter of an acre, so just over a quarter of an acre, yeah, right here, yeah. is where we planted this. So we're going to be cutting it very soon. After it has seeded, we shall collect the seeds, get them off, and then after that, we shall be able to, you know, probably replant some of those seeds in the rest of this area, and then cut the rest of it and make hay for the goats that I do have. So clearly, from my conversation, you can see that I do have goats and sheep. So why would I be against cattle, for example, if I do have goats and sheep? So it's not like I'm against cattle, but I mean, for example, compared to goats and sheep, you need way more land, way more land to look after cattle, because they need way more pasture to feed on. Yeah, they're not like goats and sheep, they need way less. In fact, currently, I have about maybe 17, 18 acres, something like, maybe a bit more than that, yeah, that I can plant on grasses and things like that. I mean, currently the goats and the sheep that are there are free ranging, but very soon I'm planning on changing the system that I'm utilizing to look after them so that I can, you know, plant pastures and things like that, and I literally just zero graze them. But for now, I'm still planting pastures, as you guys have already seen, yeah? So I've planted that Chloris Guyana, I've planted alfalfa right here on the farm, and I've also planted Napier somewhere, yeah? So, I mean, I'm in that phase where the grasses are fast growing before I decide to fully zero graze the animals, so that I don't have problems, because currently I'm having problems where the animals escape, they go into people's gardens and things like that. Once I've been able to do that, then it will be quite easy for me to even multiply and replicate and grow the numbers of the goats and sheep on the farm. But compared to the cattle, they eat way less, yeah? They eat way less. And they don't need as much attention. Yeah? They don't need as much attention in terms of like medicines. From my prayer experience, initially I did have quite an amount of cattle. As you guys might know, I have another farm, 400 acres, that I actually do run with a partner. It's not 100% mine. And from there, I had an interesting experience, because I got to experience, you know, goats, sheep on quite a big scale, and also cattle on a big scale, because by then we had about 150 dairy cattle. And we faced quite a number of problems, yeah, to a point whereby we decided to even get rid of them. Yeah, at least momentarily while we stabilized. Yeah, what were the issues we faced? Their medicines are really expensive. So because they are not like, well, they were not like pure Frisians, but they had a bit of Frisian blood, quite a percentage, maybe 50% or something like that. They were quite delicate compared to the local goats and sheep or cattle in the area. So they consistently needed like treatment and things like that, and their treatment is really expensive. That's number one. Number two, the cost of milk, or the price of milk in the area, was very complicated, yeah? So the prices would fluctuate very greatly, because of the monopoly. Yeah, so for example, in a season like now, it has started raining. As you guys have seen, my grasses look nice. They have grown up very nicely. Once that does happen, you're going to have a bit of problems. And what are some of these problems? The problems you're going to have is that the price of milk is going to come down really low, and a few companies are going to manipulate you. They're going to be the ones to set the price of the milk and things like that, and then it just becomes complicated and expensive for you to even run the farm, because then you're not getting enough money, or barely just getting enough money for you to be able to survive and run the farm. Yeah, so probably like a proper dairy farm would only make sense if you're able to add value. Yeah, you need to be able to do value addition on the farm. And what's value addition? Making yogurt, making cheese, making ghee, or things like that. Yeah, and that's 100% doable, but it also comes with its complexities. I'll give you a quick one. Yeah, for me over here, I do a poultry farm and I produce my eggs, and I don't need to add any value. Yeah, now I mean, if I needed to add value right now, I'd probably add value. But at the start, when I started out, it would have been very difficult. Now, when it does come to eggs, there's actually very little you can do in terms of value addition. Yeah, some of the things you could do would be things like, I don't know, making cakes, baking, but that's completely another business, quite far away or detached from poultry farming. So, I mean, I could do that, but I don't need to do it. I can just sell the eggs the way they are, and that's a business that I'm actually doing right now. And it's quite easy for me to do it that way. But if I decided to go the very same way with like cattle, then you have to like start making yogurt. And making yogurt is not the complication. It's not the hard thing. Selling the yogurt is the problem, yeah? Because now I also do know someone who is doing that, yeah? His family does have a lot of milk. So what he does is that he buys the milk from his family, because they produce the milk, and then for him, he started like a yogurt manufacturing plant or something like that. And it's quite good. His yogurt is so nice. It's so tasty. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Now I'm thinking about it. I even want it right now. But his yogurt is really nice. And then you go over there, and his biggest problem when I was talking with him is selling the yogurt. So he would want to scale up and get to the point where he's producing a lot of it, but selling it is a problem because you're competing with these 2 or 3 really big companies on the market that are also producing yogurt and things like that, yeah? Which is not quite the thing when it comes to eggs, for example. No one gives a damn about eggs. Eggs don't need to be branded, so it's quite easy to sell them. They're not like yogurt where you need to go to URSB. URSB is like, you know, certify the quality of the product and the safety and things like that for you to be able to take it to supermarkets and places like that. It's not like eggs. Eggs are really easy to sell because every Tom, Dick and Harry will buy eggs. Yogurt, you need to go and sell it in supermarkets most probably. You're not going to sell it on the streets and things like that. So it makes it really complicated to do this kind of business, yeah? Quite complicated. Here in Uganda, there's a lot of people who have thousands and thousands of heads of cattle, but you can barely see anything out of it. And again, it's because it's that kind of business or that type of business where cash flow is very low. Yeah, cash flow is very, very low. You're most likely going to be selling all your animals at once in one go, not like me who sells my eggs each and every day. Yeah, so those are some of the complications of doing, you know, cattle. Now, when it does come to piggery, the main reason I don't do piggery is because of 2 reasons. I'll be honest with you. Number one, because I have a very huge Muslim following on my YouTube channel, and I feel like, I mean, I'm already doing poultry. Why should I be doing piggery to just chase all these people away from me? Yeah, I know a lot of you actually people do love pork, and it's okay. But I also do have a lot of people who, you know, love to learn and understand about chickens, but they hate the whole idea of a pig. So I just decided not to. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. The main reason I decided not to do piggery at the start was because of that. It's not like I didn't want to offend the Muslim population, but I didn't need to offend them. Yeah, I could, I mean, if I really needed to, I would have, but I didn't need to offend them because, again, it's not a business I really needed to go into. Even if I were to go into it, it would like be on the sidelines or something like that, yeah? So I decided not to go into piggery. But number 2, it's as risky as chickens, yeah? So I currently do have chickens on my farm, and I mean, it's a risky business, very risky. But then I personally feel like piggery is even more risky than chickens, and I'll tell you why. Because they have a particular disease that is so hard to get rid of, swine fever, yeah? So I have a friend who has been doing pigs, and he wanted me to work with him on the pigs, but I've been thinking about it, and after like going through the motions and studying it quite a number of times, I just noticed that no, it's just not my kind of thing because the risk is too much, yeah? I saw 2 outbreaks on his farm completely wipe out the farm due to swine fever twice, not just once, but twice. Wipe out the farm with swine fever. I was like, no way, this is not something I'm ready to do. This is not something I'm going to do by any means, yeah? So, because it's too risky, and I personally feel like it's as risky as poultry farming, then why not concentrate on poultry farming? Why do 2 things that are quite as risky? And again, swine fever again can't be vaccinated. All poultry diseases can be vaccinated against. So I feel like there's this one factor which is out of my control that I'm not willing to take on, yeah? Something that's out of your control, and you can't deal with it, I mean, why bother and go ahead and deal with it, yeah? So again, because of that one reason, I decided not to do piggery. So yes, guys, those are the reasons why I don't do cattle, why I don't do pigs. And that's why I love my chickens, yeah? Because I mean, I started with nothing on a small piece of land, and I've been able to scale and grow and look at where I am. Meanwhile, right now I'm in a garden of alfalfa. The guys have just finished harvesting alfalfa. I think I can see the lines of alfalfa. So they have been like cutting it. So right now we are waiting for it to wither. You can see it right here. Yeah, so the guys have cut it and left it in the garden. Others, yeah. So we're waiting for it to wither. Then maybe 3 days or so, we shall be able to bale it and then store it somewhere to be utilized by the goats while we wait for it to sprout again and while we put some manure in. Yeah, so you guys can see that the guys have brought some manure already. So we want to spread manure into the garden right here so that our next harvest is much better than what we had currently. And in case you're wondering how I have personally been able to start a poultry farm from nothing, literally nothing, because I started with nothing in 2019. I didn't even have a piece of land. All I had was savings that I saved up and then built a chicken house on my dad's land. And now here I am with 4 acres of land in this area. I mean, I'm talking about 15 acres of land somewhere where I'm doing goats. It's more than 15, maybe 19 or 20 acres of land where I'm doing goats. I mean, quite an amount of land around. And I started with nothing. So if you want to know how I started, how I grew through the steps, and how you can actually do the very same, I've made a video of the stepwise process that you can actually go through to start a poultry farm that can make you anything between 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 US dollars. I'll leave a link to that video in the description of this video, so go check it out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Catch you very soon with another, and lots of love. Bye-bye.